Ever thought about studying abroad? Are you able to finance your intended degree? Well, last year, the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service facilitated over 20 scholarship opportunities to public servants for studies in over 5 countries, even as far as Korea. Do you want to realize your dream of studying abroad? Welcome to the MoFPS Coffee and Conversations, where we share the experiences of our public servants as they navigate a life of service. I am your host, Shaquille Rochester Shorter. Follow the ministry on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and now LinkedIn. Look for MoF Jamaica or the Ministry of Finance Jamaica. Today, we take several sips of coffee and have a conversation with Shamara O'Connor and Norville Belvett, beneficiaries of scholarships facilitated by the MoFPS for studies in Russia, Cuba, and China. Shamara O'Connor furthered her studies by gaining a scholarship through the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service to study in Russia, and Norville Belvett is a 2-time scholarship recipient. He studied in Cuba and China. Shamara and Norville, welcome. How are you doing?
Fine.
Good, thank you.
How did you learn about the scholarship facilitated by the MoFPS? Shamara.
Well, for myself, the ministry normally puts an ad in the papers, and I responded to that ad, and I sent in my essay, and I used my grades and qualifications, and I won the scholarship.
Was it the same for you, Norville?
My experience was a bit different. Went on the website, saw the offerings, applied. I actually missed the first opportunity because by the time I applied, the scholarship had already closed. I applied, I got through. That was for Cuba. For China, it came via email because now I was working with a ministry agent.
I know you're well known by the ministry.
Yeah, so the email came. I had 1 week in which to apply. Had to run up and down like a chicken without a head. Put in all my documents and stuff together, submitted, and I was successful the second time around.
But Shamara, you've been to school in Jamaica and you've been to school in Russia.
Yes.
Unlike Norville, been to Cuba and China, right? So what differences between Jamaican and Russian culture that you'd like to tell us about?
Well, of course, the journey to Russia is a is a huge. It's a massive jump in terms of the facilities of the culture. And just cultural expression in and of itself, it's a different atmosphere altogether. So of course there were several culture shocks traveling to Russia, and huge disparities between how we are here in Jamaica, especially how we function in university, by contrast to how they function in Russia.
Norville, for you now, what would you say is a shock for you, a culture shock, when you got to either Cuba or China?
All right, so let us start with Cuba. Landing in Cuba, coming from Jamaica, is like you went back in time.
Explain.
What we consider as classical cars.
Uh-huh.
Those are the cars that are passing on the street.
Oh.
Everyday movement. So like 1960s Shelby, you see them as taxis, personal vehicles and stuff like that. Everybody smoke. Rum was actually cheaper than water, which was kind of a good thing. And Cuban people are welcoming. Within a few months, you're a part of somebody's family.
Oh, nice.
They will come check up on you. They will ensure that you're okay. You didn't get a chance to feel homesick. They will feed you like that grandmother kind of feeling.
Okay.
Always want whatever little that they have. They were more than willing to share with you whatever it was.
That's awesome.
There was no shame in, I don't have the best kind of food. They're eating peas, they're offering me some
Wow.
of that.
Not to cut you, but I really want to know what you specialized in and how you plan now to use that to benefit the Jamaican society, really.
Okay, so my degree is a professional degree, a professional level. By comparison to the curriculum here and in some places in the West, it would be a master's level degree, right? So it's the equivalent of a master's in some instances. So I completed a 6-year program in 5 years. I studied in architecture with specialty in architectural construction and design.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you plan to use that to benefit the Jamaican economy or the Jamaican society?
As an architect, there's a lot that needs to be done concerning the advancement of infrastructure here in Jamaica. And, as an engineer, I believe you could also comment on that, especially water facilities. A lot of developments going on in Kingston now. Are our utility services matching with the rate at which we're, putting in new construction, actually developing, So, I would put some emphasis on that in terms of contributing. And in terms of, from the artistic perspective of my education, to, of course, influence a type of architecture that will dictate the sort of beauty I believe Kingston can engender in the next 50 years.
Norville, to hear from you now, what did you specialize in your 2 degrees and how will you use that to benefit the Jamaican society?
Okay, so my first degree was in mechanical engineering. I did a specialty in fluid distribution, basically pumps, moving fluid through pipes, vessels and stuff like that. And then my master's was in civil engineering on the same line of water distribution and treatment. Currently, I'm employed with the National Irrigation Commission on special projects. I am basically doing what I wanted.
Awesome.
My passion is water, right?
Yes.
Delivering water, designing, maintaining water systems and stuff like that. Most of my jobs coming back from Cuba has been in the water sector and a little bit in the construction sector. But so I've been doing what my passion is, and I've been giving back. I used to teach part-time at CMU and at Hart, kind of molding the minds of young aspiring engineers and stuff like that. So that is my contribution from what I've learned overseas to take it back here. That's how best I think I can give back.
And to that effect, I must comment that I'm really grateful and thankful for the opportunity provided by the Ministry of Finance in making these opportunities available to Jamaicans. And I must say that in giving Jamaicans the exposure, that reformed mindset is critical to our advancement as a nation.
Thank you, Shamara and Norville, for sharing your stories with us today. Do you want to study and live abroad? Applications for a scholarship can be made through the Workforce Planning and Improvement Branch at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, or you can visit our website at mof.gov.jm. We thank you for tuning in to this episode of MoFPS Coffee and Conversations. We aim to share the experiences of public servants as they navigate a life of service. Real people, real stories. If you haven't checked us out yet or been following us on social media, be sure to do so. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and now LinkedIn. Search for MoF Jamaica or the Ministry of Finance Jamaica. Until next time, I am your host, Shaquille Rochester Shorter.